Good evening and welcome to the May edition of Your Questions Answered. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
And I'm single. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. My wife's just in the Philippines. I'm Joe, KD9CJX, just playing dad and mom this week.
Just from the dad and mom this week. You're Mr. Mom there. So.
Oh, man, it's brutal. I mean, I'm glad I only have one child and they're 15 years old right now. If I did this when I had both of them and they were young, I would probably, I'd probably have lost it.
Oh, I know. I've been there too. So.
Yeah.
Well, happy May Day. May Day to those who celebrate.
Yes, happy International Workers' Day.
Yeah, we're power to the people, power to the workers.
Yep.
And it's also the ancient Nordic and Celtic peoples would celebrate May Day, as we are halfway between the equinox and the summer solstice. So
really?
Halfway to summer today.
Halfway to summer.
But it doesn't feel like it. No,
because it just rains and it's 50 degrees out. Non-stop all week. That's like every job that I've done. I've had to run out to the truck multiple times. Right, so by the end of the day, I am just a wet, soaked dog.
Yeah, it was. Boy. Yep. It was a wet one. So
right.
Yeah. Bill's celebrating. His maypole is a vertical. So.
Yes.
And the Norwegians say their maypole dance is always on 17. Mai. The 17th of May, which is Norwegian Independence Day.
Which is a little different than Cinco de Mayo, which is Mexican
Independence Day, which is the 5th. So
yes, and May 4th, of course, we all know is Star Wars Day.
Star Wars, May the 4th be with you.
That is a holy day of obligation, right there, my friends.
Oh, we got people filing in here tonight, so let's do some greetings. We got Scout and of course our buddy Matt down in Stoughton. We already did the Stoughton salute. So Kent and Don from the Twin Cities.
Hey, Don was teaching my class on Long Island CW Club a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Don? No kidding! Hey.
Yeah, I was filling in, and then I meant to do one this week, but like I said, being single dad this week, I gotta make that transition over to some of those BC2 classes. I've just been hanging in BC1 for the last several weeks, and you're sandbagging.
I will admit I am sandbagging a little bit, but I'm feeling better too about it, and I think we just gotta get off into that deep end. So
right. We're waiting for the first trifecta activation from you, Michael. CW, data, and phone.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be some camping weekends that we'll have to absolutely do that. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of you, Michael, congratulations on your 500th POTA activation.
500, yes.
This past weekend, you hit the 500 mark. How does it feel?
Oh my gosh! It's to have 500 activations under my belt. I looked at all of the activator standings, and there's like 22,000 people in the Parks on the Air program registered, and it's. As somebody that's done 500, I'm in like 280th place. So.
But you didn't start at the beginning of the program.
No, but I started.
You got a late start.
My first one was in 2019. So, I've been doing it for 5.5 years. And so it had already been active for 2 years since then.
Right.
But there's people that go out there that, they go out every single day and activation a day, and it's easy. Well, you can rack up some numbers. You do that for a couple of years.
Right. And full disclosure, POTA is Michael's job. I mean, it's only part of your income, I guess. Well, it's not. You don't have pecuniary interest. It's the videos.
My job is grinding that content mill.
Yeah, grinding the content mill and throwing those J-poles out there.
So.
Yeah.
But
well, congratulations.
Speaking of content, we've got. If you got ham radio questions, we hopefully have the answers for you tonight. So drop your questions into the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can this evening. We usually try to do as many as we can. We may not get to it right away. Well, sometimes I like to lump them together. But give us throw the questions to us so we don't have to make up bad jokes for the rest of the evening.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to be making them anyways tonight.
But... going to be making them anyway. Right. We got Colin from VK Land. I know he's a regular. So
Colin's probably closer to my wife than I am right now.
Yeah, you said she's in Singapore for business. So work.
Not Singapore, Philippines.
Manila,
yes.
Oh, 24-hour flight.
Yeah. And Joe.
Gentleman and Joe.
Wow.
He's never met you and he knows you.
Oh, that is true. What can I say? I'm something.
Yeah. All right. So. Oh, Todd from Titletown. So how did that draft? Yeah, Todd, did you survive the draft? That's good to hear.
600,000 people at that draft.
Over 3 days, 200,000 a day.
600,000. I mean, I knew some people that went. Mm-hmm. That's insane. I mean, Green Bay only has 150,000. 110, probably 150, 160 in the greater Green Bay metro area.
Twice the population of Green Bay was at Lambeau Field for the NFL draft.
Every day. Yeah, it's just it's insane. And it was really good. I mean, everyone said that. Other than the $17 beers, but I'm sorry, you're going to pay $17 for a beer. But other than that, everyone said it was great. It ran well. I mean, yes, there was 200,000 people there, but there weren't any problems. No riots.
No.
There was enough bathrooms.
And I guess if you got too crowded or claustrophobic, they had the Lambeau, the field itself was the dome, the bowl was open, so you could go sit in the stands and relax and watch the jumbotron. So, I think that's really good. So, who knows? Maybe a Super Bowl coming up in 10 years. Yeah. So who knows? We got.
I see ya.
Adventures in Blind Videography. He's a regular.
Well, that sounds like your videos, Michael.
Oh, here we got our clarification. Mexican Independence Day is in September. Cinco de Mayo is celebration of the Mexican forces defeating the French. So that is.
I hate the French. Andrew, nice seeing you.
Yeah. So.
Oh boy, I'm gonna take the glass off. The glare tonight is just awful.
Bill's working towards his 420th. So.
In Colorado, huh?
Colorado or Michigan.
Oh, good Lord. I think it's so cheap in Michigan, they just hand it out when you cross the border. No comment.
Oh, excuse me.
A 10 gig J-pole?
Can 10
Muy
gigahertz.
pequeño.
Yeah, we're talking tiny. I'm when we were building those Wi-Fi antennas, I remember I cut the radiator, the little quarter wave radiator, and then stuck it in the antenna, and that was like at 2.4 gigahertz. That was just like this big. It was tiny.
Yeah, so I think 10 gig is a 3 centimeter band. So a quarter wave of 3 centimeters.
Yep.
2.54 centimeters is an inch. So 3 centimeters is a little more than an inch. So a quarter wave is probably 3/10 of an inch.
Yep, 3/10. Yeah.
On 10 gigs. Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd get the feed point on there.
No, so well, yeah, you can't really make a J-pole, but I mean, you got to make a dish. That's the only way these guys were, a dish or a feed horn, right? In my adventures in tech gigs a few years ago, I really need to get back into that, but I got to find a good rig, and I think I need a different transverter, right? But I also need some people closer. I need someone in the Marathon County area that I can work with because there's no one. It's an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to anyone else that does it. So
you got to go down to Milwaukee, Fond du Lac, the Fox Valley. The people that live on the Twin Cities, and
I mean, like there's a lot of people out there that would be excited if I got on the air because there's no one here in central Wisconsin, and there's a lot of good places to activate from. Like I could probably hit the Twin Cities from Red Mountain, but it's very, very sparse.
It's
so
tough, So
yeah,
we'll have to as the solar conditions start to dwindle, we'll have to get into the higher bands.
Yes. Yes, well, the higher bands and nosebleed seats. The Euchre seats, if you will.
We got Salty Walt in the house. Hey, Walt has got a new book out. If you've seen this, it's just been released by the ARRL.
Yeah, I think I saw this.
We should give him a plug.
Did you send it to me, or did I send it to you?
I think you sent it to me. But I had seen it previously, so we'll get this pulled up here. But Walt, I caught Walt. He was actually on my 500th park over at the Leopold Wetland district, and I usually like to chat. When I get people, when I recognize the call signs, I was just so in the zone that time though that. I totally.
Do we really have a book about the damn Baofeng radio?
Is there? You're a guide to using a hand. Yeah, they do.
Oh man, just pandering now. There goes my membership.
Salty Walt's portable antenna sketchbook. So if you've seen I've seen a lot of his sketches. He posts them online on like his Facebook page and whatnot. So it's really, really great antenna ideas. So you might want to, if you're looking for something, different to put on the air, this might be a good resource to give you some of them ideas. So
well, I'm gonna have to check that out. Actually,
check that out.
Due for some new ball game, if you will. Here, maybe I'll take a look. New
reading material. So.
Right. It's been a while since I've read anything.
Oh boy. So, all right. So, we got a little. We got a super chat here from 3.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
But
is that what Yosemite Sam says when he's falling off the cliff? Yeah.
But we're gonna give him some of the applause. So thank you so much. And, I know when I pop into those classes over at Long Island CW Club. And I'll usually get recognized by one or two people, and it's crazy. And so they'll say hi in a private chat, and I'll say hi back, and it's a nice thing.
Me too, actually, because I am not the household name as you are, as you will.
Yep.
I'm just here for comic relief.
Yeah.
But usually someone mentions my name. Hey, aren't you that guy?
Aren't you that guy?
No,
that guy who does that thing.
You're the guy that did that thing. Yeah.
So I guess just starting is sort of a relative term. I got my license in 1999.
So you've done 5 words a minute.
I had to take the 5 word a minute code test because when I tested, I took 3 exams that day, 4 exams. My novice code, technician, and then since I passed all of those, I took the general and passed that one by the skin of my teeth. Well, I passed the code by this. Well, I passed the code by the skin of my teeth too.
But that was only 5 words a minute.
That was 5 words a minute, and you could either have a full minute solid copy, or there was 10 questions, and if you answered more than half of the questions, you would pass. And I was able to cobble together enough code so that I could figure out the answers for the questions. And the guy proctoring the exam goes, I don't know how you got that from that, but yeah, you passed. My code my first code practice I bought a set of Gordon West code tapes from the local Radio Shack store, the cassette tapes. Wow. I wish I still had them, but I passed them on to somebody else so that they could do their code test. And so after I was a Tech Plus for like 6-7 months, and then April of the next year, the FCC restructured everything. They got rid of novice, and since I dropped code requirement down to 5 words a minute for everybody, since I had a CSCE for a general, I was able to paper upgrade, so I became a general.
So you are a no code general.
No, well, I have 5 words a minute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I took the 5. I'm a 5 word general, a 5 word extra.
A novice extra.
A novice extra. So for a brief moment in time, I had a novice license.
Very, very short amount of time. Yes.
Very short, yeah, until I passed that technician exam. So, okay, so then fast forward 25 years. And Joe, you wanted to last winter. I know, because off and on, I think the both of us were trying to get some code, proficiency down between the two of us.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, I had kind of dabbled in it. Just before COVID, I think, and then the wheels just came off that real quick. But so like I actually had a New Year's resolution this year. That was cool.
Yep. And then so you asked me, well, I told you Long Island CW Club, and I had gotten a member. I picked up a membership a couple of years ago, and I took like a couple classes, and then I backburnered it for the longest time. So
yeah, well, you had actually done a presentation for the club, hadn't you?
Yes. I was a speaker for one. Yeah, because not only do they do classes, but they also do. They've got regular presenters that come in, and roundtable discussions and things. And I think
if you're a maker, especially if you're like in QRP rigs and stuff like that, they got sessions on that and everything.
So it's not all just CW. It's a legit club. I mean, people I mean, it's all just, it's all online. There's no physical nature to it, but you drop into the Zoom rooms and take a code class. You can practice. You can meet. You can link up with other members and practice. And you can take all of these, round tables and things. And I think if you're interested in CW, even if you're proficient in CW, it's a good value. So.
Right. Yeah. Some of their advanced classes, they work on 30, 40 words a minute. Yeah, they're really working on getting that proficiency up there. So if you wanna, if you're a good CW operator, but you want to be just slamming it, they got stuff for you. If you are green as green can be and you are scared crapless, they got a class for you as well.
Yep.
If you are disabled, they have specific classes for disabled. They have classes for YLs. They have classes in Spanish.
Yes.
So they really are doing the outreach above and beyond just, regular code classes. So
it's
definitely check them out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just what you have available to you is just absolutely crazy. And it, like I say, it's not that expensive to join. What, $25 a year or something like that?
25 or 30 bucks. It wasn't much.
Yeah.
And the resources they have online as well, their practice page is phenomenal.
Yes.
I highly recommend that.
I'm going to show.
Yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, I'm going to show so I'm just going to pull up the website here quick, but they got so LongIslandCWClub.org, and you can check out all of their resources, for free. And they've got, like I said, they've got tons and tons of stuff. But the neat thing is, let me see if I can pull this up. Is their Morse practice page?
Yes.
And this is a free resource. They said you don't have to be a member to use this. This is their teaching tool, but it's open and available to anybody. So, but here, what they can do, it's keyed to their classes. So, if you're in the beginning code 1, 2, or 3, the intermediate or the advanced classes, you can pull up, lessons, and then it'll just do its thing. And let me see if I can make it do something. Where's the apply? There we go.
There you go.
And then if I just hit play, is it going to do anything? Can you hear this? But
maybe.
Yeah. So you.
Oh yeah, you don't have your audio playing through, but.
Oh, I don't have my audio playing through. Okay, so but so take my word for it. It's plain code. So you can use this as a practice tool, a training tool, or whatnot. And I'll throw that. I'm just going to throw that link right into the chat here. And if I can find my cursor, there we go. All right.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. If you're thinking about, or even if you're just interested or just want to learn more, you can sit and just listen in on a class too. You can audit a class.
Yep.
Right. So if you got the nerves or shakes or something, you just want to see what's going on, and you don't want to participate in the class, you can just sit in too. So don't worry about that.
Yep. So check it out. We've probably talked a lot more about Long Island CW than what I was planning on, but so Joe has been you've been really successful. You've gotten
I'm through BC2 right now, but I need to I got to get back into practice and keep doing it, because what I found out is that if you stop, it takes a little bit to get going again. Like my sending I can site send, but site copy is real difficult for me. And then if I take, like I said, I've been daddy daycare lately. I need to get back in it. I need to get a good week of just 30 minutes a day, just practicing again before I do my next activation. Which I won't have another activation for a couple of weeks yet. So,
but you've made like 100 POTA CW contacts.
Yes. 5 activations, so I'm over 100 contacts.
Nice, yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah,
I'm not where I want to be, but I'm happy where I'm going.
I'm going a little slower. I was hoping to be on the air by the end of April, early May. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully
you will be.
Yeah, hopefully.
And we've been talking about it, so I'm going to take the plunge. And field day, I am the CW operator.
You're going to be the CW guy. All right.
Yeah, we're going to get those. We're going to get those big points now. I don't know how much CW we're going to do as soon as we start the campfire at night. But
we'll get Dave will show you what his tricks is, so that he's really gotten, when he's contesting CW, he's got so much of it automated now with so because a contest exchange is just a rote script. So
right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think if I do it, I'm going to just get a keyer for the weekend, and we'll just do it that way.
All you got to do is, and then if you just have a few macros, all you need to do is be able to figure out call signs and the exchange, and presto blammo. Yeah, you're good.
Right. Right. So it'll be good. Yeah. Actually, I could just bring the 3,000 out for the weekend and program it all in. Then I wouldn't have to go buy anything.
Yeah.
Do I want to break the 3,000 out for the weekend? Kinda. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about actually, after the break, we're going to talk about RFI. So I'll tell you my trick or Dave, what Dave and I have figured out how to keep people from getting into your well,
you got to hang the picnic basket up high.
Yeah. I know winter field day, we had the problem with everybody's signals were getting into the receivers, but yeah. So all right. And thanks again for the chat. And I mean, I'll probably be hanging in BC1 off and on Monday nights, just to kind of keep that fluid, and I'm gonna start dipping my toes into BC2 now before I get too busy for the summer. So it's
right.
So that's my CW story.
What a long and sordid tale.
Oh,
I mean,
I tell you.
that was almost like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
It is. It probably is.
One key to rule them all.
One key to rule them all. There we go. I saw something here. Ham till it hurts. As a kid, I went to summer camp in Wasaki, Wisconsin, with a day trip to Dave's Falls. Is that a POTA park? So if you have activated it, Dave's Falls is not a POTA park. It is a county park in Marinette County, and I've been to Dave's Falls. Is really cool. Dave's not here because Dave's
not here, man.
Dave's not here. He went down the falls. Dave
Dave. I just can't do that.
He was a lumber driver. So the guy that stands on the logs as they go down the river to the sawmill, he was a driver, and he lost his life near Dave's Falls. So that is why Dave's Falls is called Dave's Falls. But there are several POTA entities near Dave's Falls. And I'm just going to pull up the map here really quick. You've got Governor Thompson State Park, which is not that far away. And okay. So we're talking out here, Marinette County, and here's Wasaki.
Yep.
I'm just going to zoom out again so you can see Titletown down here. This is the Yoop. So we'll pull up into Crivets, Wasaki. We've got Governor Thompson State Park. We've also got Governor Earl, Peshtigo River State Forest. Those are two parks that you can activate in Marinette County. Veterans Falls is down here. Dave's Falls is up here, if I remember correctly. There's more. There's like 20 some waterfalls in Marinette County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Amberg State Wildlife Area you can activate. You can activate the Town Corner State Wildlife Area, and then there's another one over by Crivets. So Lake Nakwabe State Wildlife Area. So there's plenty of opportunity. So you can do a nice waterfall tour, and you can throw in a couple parks. So
very nice.
Up in Marinette County. So okay. So we'll get rid of my mouse here. So I think, all right. Yeah, those Long Island CW Club, Don C says the forums alone are worth the price of admission. They got it all. They really do.
Yeah, they do.
So join the Long Island CW Club.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're gonna do CW at Field Day, what's Dave gonna do?
He's gonna cover my ass. he's gonna be my quarter guy. He's gonna be.
You can do shift work. He's a night owl, so
yeah.
Let him sleep all day, and then you can.
Perfectly fine with that. I'll sleep all night.
Yeah.
After Travis is cooking, I'll have a long sleep.
Dave's Falls is pretty close to Dave got back up, and not quite a twofer. Dave wasn't fast. And we lost Dave.
Thought we almost lost Dave when the septic started backing up at Winter Field Day, but
oh man. All right. We've been talking about, we got onto this tangent here with Long Island CW Club, and I almost forgot the time. I mean, it's time to start doing, let me pull up here.
We have to recognize our Patreon.
We got to recognize our patrons, the people, our very important people that help keep this show afloat. And
it's like, they're like our super PAC.
A super PAC. There we go. And we got some new ones, some new supporters that have come in the last month. Rick Zahn, Paul Beeman, Larry, and Mark at the supporter level. I thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And then always at our top level are our associate producers, and I'm not going to forget them at all. So we always like to recognize Larry, Lyle, Mark, Michael, W4PHO, Michael again, Mark, Kyle, Tim, Bill, Brian, Dave, Don, Joel, John, Josh, Jason. Lockwood is our newest associate producer, and Scott Joseph. So thank you all for your support. It's really appreciated. We got a new feature over there on the Patreon site, in that you can join for free now, and you get access to my weekly e-letter. So, so what that is when I pop the video out there, I do a little blog entry on the Patron site with just, my thoughts and impressions and things that and whatnot, ruminations that are going through my head. And that's available to anybody for just the free sign up. So
ruminations in your
ruminations in my head.
Just call it chewing on your cud. What's in the fourth stomach in Michael's brain? The ruminations.
So ruminants. And that's over at patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas. So a little touch of free content over there. If you want to hear, if you want a little bit of background or insider stuff, you'll find it. You'll find it over on that page. So
yep.
All right. And with that, I just want to say, just give a quick shout out to our sponsor. KB9 VBR antennas are simple, effective, and affordable VHF and UHF antennas for amateur radio, MERS, public safety, and GMRS. Made in the USA with quality parts. Get yours online at jpol-antenna.com. All right. So we got all that out of the way. We can get back to the show here.
We have a show?
We got to get something.
A really big show here, folks. Really big show.
I got Nathan stopping by. Any interest in doing a fox hunt this spring or early summer? We haven't done a fox hunt in ages.
3 or 4 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We did a bunch. When COVID hit, because there was nothing else to do, and we could be outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we haven't really done one since then. I mean, I haven't had the arrow out in a while.
We've done those in a couple. We've done at least, I think, we at that time, 2020, 21, 22. We had like 3 or 4 of them, but then we ran out of people that were willing to hide the fox.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because I still have. So I have 2 of the little 200 milliwatt micro foxes.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy once, I had this great idea. I got 2 of those little micro foxes, right? And I set them, you can have a delay on them. So 2 hours beforehand, I started them simultaneously, and one had a 2-hour delay, one had a delay of 2 hours and 30 seconds.
Yep.
Because it's a 30-second, repeat on it. And in CW, it had this little, and they both had it. But one said red fox, one said blue fox. Right? 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. And I said, okay, everyone, find the blue fox. Well, how do you find the blue fox? I said, well, just listen. It'll tell you which one's the blue fox. And only 1 or 2 people figured it out that there were 2 foxes, and you had to listen to the CW enough to figure out what one said blue fox. But it took and we were at Rib Mountain.
Yes.
And because they're 200 milliwatts, they probably go a couple hundred yards at most. It was real fun because we were all over the park trying to figure out where they were at.
We found the one fox, but then the other one just because you couldn't hear the second fox when you found the first one. It got a little
right. Yeah, there was spread out far enough that once you got too far, you were kind of all in.
Yep.
So that's what happened. Half the crowd went one way, half the crowd went the other, and it was fun. But
it was.
Yeah, we should do that again.
We'll do that again. Maybe I'm camping every night, every weekend in June. But we'll see if we can kind of figure something out in the next sometime this summer. So
exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
It'd be a lot of fun to do one of those. So
yeah, I always thought you get the big fox, the big 5-watt transmitter, and set that also place. So when you get that, then it gives you a different frequency, and you got to find the little one.
Yep. Hey, Flatlander's got a great idea. Fox hunt at the POTA campout.
Oh God! I mean, it's bad enough that it's already going to be invaded with hams. They'll shut that park down, and we're all walking around with box on antennas.
That would be fun, though. I mean, how big is that park? It's 1,000 acres or more.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all flat. You could probably get it. You get it hidden pretty good. So.
Right. Okay. That's an idea.
We're gonna add that to the list. Yeah, we're gonna figure that one out. So
yes.
It'd be the microfoxes. So
I will get fresh batteries. Let's just say that.
Fresh batteries and we'll so all right. We're going to talk about Hamvention in a second here, but I got a couple questions here that I just wanted to grab. EMAC YouTube 2. If HF only had 10 watts, what would be the best antenna to use as in efficiency? I think if you're looking for a super simple, efficient antenna, nothing is probably going to beat a horizontal dipole.
Right. If you're going to run QRP, HF, you can definitely do it with a dipole. The vertical antenna is another good one too. I've had good luck running the 17-foot whip on 20 meters and just shortening it up. Because you have no loading coil 20 through 10. It's very good.
Yeah.
Probably not as good as a dipole, but it's a lot easier to set up. You can use an end fed. You lose a little bit with the transformer, but they work.
Yeah, but I've had a lot of success 5-watt QRP with an end fed half wave.
Yep.
And that would be a choice.
I would stay away anything with traps. Yeah, I would definitely stay away anything with traps. End-fed half wave, I think, would be better than an end-fed random wire.
Yeah.
Right, because the end-fed half wave is resonant on 40 or whatever your primary frequency is.
Yeah.
So you'll always have a resonant antenna, even though that the SWR is high because of feed point impedance. But that's why we have the balance.
Yep. I've had for vertical antennas, the POTA Performer, I've had very good luck. QRP.
Yep, the POTA Performer would be a great one. Yeah,
that'd be excellent because elevated radials,
ground plane, so you have a good takeoff angle. It's very efficient.
Right? Yeah, that's a great choice. I've done activations with the magnetic loop. They're on the upper. Now, the thing with the mag loop antennas is that their performance drops precipitously as you go down to the lower bands. But 10, 15, 20 meters, they're good enough for that. And you can get a good activation on a mag loop. It's going to be an expensive antenna. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's a great option. I've done QRP activations with ham sticks. They not my first choice, but if with everything we said, if I was looking at 3 antennas for QRP, 5-10 watts, number 1, dipole, link dipole type antenna. Number 2, end-fed half wave. And number 3, a vertical with either a really good ground network or an elevated ground like the POTA Performer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those would be my 3. So, all right. And I think there was one other, somebody else was asking about the POTA Performer. Just finished building it for my first POTA activation this summer. If you had to pick one other antenna to bring in addition to the Performer, what would it be? Probably, you know what? I like to pack a couple of different antennas. So And a lot of times one will be a wire antenna and one would be, be a vertical, like the POTA Performer. And I would say probably just like an end-fed half wave. It is a really good, the 40 meter end-fed half wave. You can use it on 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters without a tuner. If you've got you can get it up into a tree with a throw bag and a line. If you get yourself one of those carbon fiber or fiberglass masts, you can use that.
Or if you have an arborist slingshot like a guy I know. Man, I could probably put that in the moon faster than Elon Musk. That thing rocks.
Yeah.
I'm bringing that to the camp out for sure.
But yeah, for good reliable wire antennas, there's so many great choices for end-fed half waves, and probably one of those. Otherwise, I carry the fixins so that I can put my, instead of doing the POTA Performer, I can put my whip on the ground. I can deploy my whip on the ground with the Faraday cloth magic carpet, and then just do a ground vertical antenna.
Yep. Yeah. So you also have in the past couple of weeks you had the res antenna.
Yes, their Scout system. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that little feed point. I mean, I think that's cool because no one's making those anymore. You can make yourself a set of dipoles for whatever bands you want.
Yep.
Really, the really stupid idea that I have in my head, because I'm an electrician, is I have access to tons of colored wire, right? And you could easily make 40 meters orange, 20 meters green, 10 meters blue, and then you just have them color coded in whatever band you want. Just slap together the dipole real quick, throw it up in the air.
And there you go. There you go.
Dipoles are, king, but the problem is getting them up high enough.
You can get them up high and 3 supports. Right. That's the problem. That's the only problem with dipoles. When I first started POTA, I built myself a link dipole antenna, and I use that for a lot of my activations, but it takes a bit of work, 3 supports. To get everything.
And you get an end fed with 1 support or 2 supports. So.
1 support or 2, and if you got a portable mast, you don't have to worry about trees so much, or throwing rope. So,
yep,
absolutely. Okay, I was going to grab one more thing here, quick. I think, and here it is. Is there a recommendation way for weatherproofing your onions or balance for permanent outdoor antenna installation?
So are you wrapping your own toroids? Is that what he's doing?
I'm thinking so. Let's assume that he's maybe unless it's like a kit with like one of those. I don't have one sitting on my desk here with a winder. But okay, so say you're building your own. You've got the toroid, and you're gonna wind your own. I think the best weatherproof box are one of those electrical junction boxes.
Yeah, so you're looking for a 4 square PVC wet location box. So 4x4, they're like this. I've used those in the past. They work great. So a couple things to think about though. Anytime you put a hole on top of the box, no matter how good you seal it up, you're going to get a little leakage, right?
Yeah.
The side and on the bottom is where you want to put your holes. So if you're going to do a end-fed antenna, usually your feed point comes in the bottom.
Yep.
One side could be your ground, or maybe have your feed point on the side, the bottom be your ground, and the other side is your radiator, right? Yep. Try to avoid having anything on the top. The other thing you could do is just with like an 1/8 inch drill bit, or maybe even like a 1 to 2/16. Wow, that'd be maybe 1/16. So just a small drill bit. Just drill a small weep hole in the bottom, right? So if any water gets in, and it does get in,
moisture will collect. Yep.
It does drain out. Make sure you get the PVC box that got the little silicone gasket.
Yeah.
on it as well.
And I think that,
yeah.
I
You
don't,
don't
they're not
need
that,
to put any like RTV necessarily. I mean, you could put a thin layer on there, but that box will seal up pretty good.
yeah. And they're not that expensive. I think they're about $10.
Oh, not even that.
Not even that. Okay.
Well, maybe now because none of them are made in the US anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 10, $15. They got the little ears on the side for screws. So I run a power end fed now, but I used to make my own. I just run the power end fed because eventually I'm planning on running some power. But I always just use a four square gray PVC box.
Yep. So all right. So with that answered, B. Williams got a response. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Off the shelf. He's using off the shelf LDG stuff. So so you know what he's talking about. The little plastic.
I have those. I love them.
Yep.
Yeah. So the LDG stuff is really kind of made for temporary use. I mean, they're great for POTA. They're great for going out and doing a park. So my next antenna is going to be a Ribicoff, and I'm going to use an LDG 4-to-1, but I have a stainless steel box that's going to go in. And then I'm just going to have a small connecting jumper come out the bottom of that to my antenna.
Yeah.
Stainless steel box. You can't afford it. You have to ask how I found this one. It's been sitting down here for a couple of years, just waiting for something. But you could get a PVC box for $40 or $50, probably like a 6x6, because you need a little more room. And then the other thing I would do, so this is probably not something you can get at like Home Depot. You might have to go to an electrical warehouse, supply warehouse. You get a 6x6 box, but you get the metal back plane that goes inside the box. So an electrician would mount a device on that, but you can mount your onto it, that you can screw it onto that, then you screw that back plane into the back of it, and then that way you don't have any holes protruding in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, what I would probably do is I would just use a eye bolt or some wing nuts, and I would have your screws on the side for your ground and your element, but then you can seal those. And then you got to do something coming up through the bottom to get your coax in.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But remember, if it's under the box, rain ain't going to come up unless it's Noah's flood. Okay. So you can leave the bottom of the box not rain tight and not have a problem with moisture. You can seal it up with a little cord grip, maybe some duck seal or anything like that to keep the bugs and the dirt out. But you're not going to have a problem with rain.
Yeah, yeah. If you really want to cheap out, I've seen quite a few people use inexpensive food storage containers.
Yeah.
Find one that fit. Yeah, Tupperware. Yeah. Find something that Rubbermaid container that fits the box. They're real easy to punch holes through.
Yes. Yeah.
So that would be an option too for a modicum of weatherproofing.
You need a drill. You might need some smaller hole saws, but it's very doable.
Yeah, food storage boxes are made out of what are they? HPDE. So
right, the stuff that gives you cancer.
Yeah, the stuff that gives that collects in your body, microplastics. So.
Sorry, inside joke. He ain't gonna discuss this. The pulp.
I think we got a couple of somebody. I saw a couple of suggestions too. Jason says, put it in a milk jug. A milk jug, because like you said, rain. You've got that shield. And so you can leave the bottom open. So it would act more like a rain shield than anything else. So that might be a solution. And then I think somebody said something about 3D printed box with silicone on the edges and sprayed with Brownell's Alumahide. So
wow, that's fancy.
That's a little fancy. So a couple of different options there. Well, hopefully we gave you some directions to go. So microplastics add 6 dB. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about this, a couple events that are coming up. And the big one in May is Hamvention. So I know, Joe, you're gonna be at home. You're not heading out to Hamvention, but I will be there.
No, I'm not going to be able to go. I can't have any fun.
It took me 20 some years before I got to my first Hamvention. So you got time yet.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're giving me high hopes.
May 16th through 18th, Greene County Fairgrounds, Xenia, Ohio. It's been at the Greene County Fairgrounds for several years now, and I've never been to Hamvention at the Hera Arena, but just seeing pictures of what Hera looked like, this is a night and day difference.
Right. It's just because it's your first trip to Mecca doesn't mean it has to suck.
That's right. I was just going to pull up there's a lot of stuff going on, and both inside and outside the grounds there. So I'm just going to kind of give, and I know there'll be other people that are going to pop on that are probably a lot more seasoned at Hamvention than I am. But I've learned a thing or two in the last couple of years that I've been attending this. Nice
Bring
thing.
Bring
a raincoat, comfortable shoes, a backpack or something like that, so that you can haul away stuff. Parking,
a radio flyer.
There you go. Some people bring,
maybe a wagon with some big wheels to get through the mud.
No, the flea market area is all crushed gravel and stuff like that. It's not the best, but those guys in their scooters, they get through it. So let me see if I can find the what do they got, a map here at all?
Does it look like it should?
I thought it's activities. There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Extreme Boot Camp. What's that?
Extreme Boot Camp. Yeah, let's see what the Extreme Boot Camp is. Your path to amateur extra license. There you go.
Oh, well, we don't qualify for that.
You could get your, see if we got, I don't know why you can't find forums. There's tons of forums. There's going to be a Parks on the Air forum on Saturday. There's actually going to be 2 of them, 10:20 to 11:20 a.m. Explore the excitement of Parks on the Air. That's just like an introductory thing where, if you've never done POTA before and you want to learn about it, go check that out. 11:30 to 12:30, Parks on the Air, the road ahead. And this is going to be more of the POTA leadership is going to talk about, where they've been, where it's going, Q&A session. So it should be, I think that should be really good. I'm just going to plan on, I'm planning to attend this one, Parks on the Air or the road ahead. So I know a lot of people have been asking, how can I meet up with you? Catch me at the POTA thing. And why can I not find a map?
Is it in the facts?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm not seeing anything.
Wow.
I just wanted to kind of, maps.
There we go.
Here
There you
go. But that's just building maps, vendor parking maps. Let's see, flea market. I'm not getting the information I want here. Flea market map.
You can tell we really did our prep tonight.
We did, yeah. We're really
knocking it out of the park here. Knocking it out of the Hamvention is what we're doing.
Okay. This is like slower than molasses. Oh, gee. So.
Well, it's so on server 2000.
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna pass on the map things and. But there's tons of stuff going on. Let's see. Jason says, why don't we just meet up somewhere? So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be wandering. Friday, I like to hit the flea market, and Saturday.
You got to get all the stuff while it's fresh.
Yeah, you got to get the flea while it's fresh. Exactly.
And then you got to hit it Sunday again for anything that's left over that no one wants to take back home.
Ain't that the case? And then Saturday, a lot of times I'll hit the buildings and talk to people in the buildings. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea. Lunch, meals, a ton. I got to get my pork tenderloin sandwich. They got the fried pork tenderloin.
Like a deep fried pork tenderloin sandwich?
Yeah, the one that's smashed out like the size of a pie plate.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, they are so delicious. They got a bourbon chicken guy out there, and then they got hamburgers, hot dogs, corn dogs, and things like that. So
I mean, anything can be deep fried if you just put your mind to it.
There you go. Foldable wagon for my POTA stuff, that would come in handy. That absolutely would. So, and I saw somebody here talking about camping at Hamvention. Hamvention's 20 miles from my house, but he's not going to be there. So, let's see. I guess not. That was somebody else camping.
So you know what? If they wanted to have a fundraiser for the local Boy Scouts, get all the local Boy Scout troops out there. I know I see this in the springtime at like all the garden centers. They just have the kids. But get all the Boy Scouts out there with a wagon with a number on it. And then when you buy something, you just give them your number and they take it to your wagon.
Yes,
you get
absolutely.
For each run, those kids would make a mint.
Absolutely. You can buy your tickets in advance. You can get them at the show. There's usually a little bit of a line to try to get tickets, but so if you get your tickets in advance, you can save the wait. Parking on the grounds can get a little challenging, especially if you're driving in. There are 2 remote lots that you can shuttle bus in. So if you're not in, and if you're not planning to buy like a big amplifier rack or something at the flea market, you can shuttle, take one of the free shuttles and avoid the traffic, because the traffic they've gotten, the first year when we went down, the traffic was a bear. I think there was some kind of holdup, but I think it takes a little while to get in, just because the traffic gets so congested around the the town there, but they got a good traffic plan. So let's see. I think somebody. Yep. Camping at Hamvention. There's a limited number of camping sites on the grounds. I'll be camping at Cedar Creek State Park. So I don't know if anybody else is camping at Cedar Creek. Maybe we'll run into you. It's a big park. There's a lot of campsites there, but I think we're in I can't remember, like the Sea Loop or something like that, but something like that. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Ham till it hurts is the ultimate. Avoid the 6 meter cans.
I've seen them. Yes, I've
had to move them.
You've had to move them. Was it last? I can't remember if it was last. Oh, I think it was 2 years ago. I sent you a picture. There was an entire 6 meter. It was a repeater rack, a built out 6 meter. The guy didn't even move it off his trailer.
No, you just saw the trailer with it. So about 6-7 years ago, we had to move a 6 meter repeater. Our friend Mark had a set of cavity filters. They were low band filters from the pipeline that he got dirt cheap, and he just tuned them up into the low band or up into 6 meters. We had to take him down the hill on a trailer with an ATV. First of all, you couldn't get a truck up there, but we had to have like a trailer. And so here's the deal: they're cavity filters. They're not made to be bounced around, guys.
Nope.
So we were just like barely going down the hill as slow as possible to get them down to a truck. And then, of course, we had to retune them when we got them into the new place.
Of course.
Yeah, they were all banged up.
Yeah. So, let's see. Hamventions isn't disabled friendly like other conventions. I think because there's a significantly large flea market area, and the flea market is gravel, it can be challenging for people with mobility issues. They do rent scooters. You can rent a scooter out there. I'd agree. If you've got mobility issues, the flea market area is going to be a challenge.
Right.
Right.
They do have the mobility scooters. I mean, there's going to be a lot of mobility scooters there.
But the other
a lot of Hamsexy mobility scooters are going to be there.
Yeah, but the areas, other than the crowds, the areas where the vendors are, all of those exhibit buildings are all that's all paved. Yeah. But it's a challenge. I will agree with you on that one. Okay. I don't know if I have any last words on Hamvention. I do have one last thing. So KF8 CDD read that I was going to be at the BARC membership meeting in May. BARC is the Bellbrook Amateur Radio Club. They're in a suburb of the Dayton area, and they invited me to speak at their club on Thursday the 15th. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're a member of BARC, the Bellbrook Amateur Radio Club, you might want to, go to their. Make sure you go to the monthly membership meeting. So,
are they going to make you an honorary member or Grand High Poobah?
Some kind of initiation rite. I don't know. They said they bring snacks. So.
Oh, why can't I go?
You can come.
I'm not going as wide. I drove 12 hours just for snacks.
Jason wants to know the best repeater to get for 2 meters or 70 centimeters.
Well, I mean, Motorola, you'll find better, but you won't find more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the commercial stuff can be tuned down into the amateur bands, and there's at one point in time there when back in 2012, when all of these public safety agencies had to make the narrow band transition, they not only did they jumped to narrowband, but a lot of them jumped to digital. So there was a flood of Motorola and Kenwood and other commercial repeaters that just hit the market at that time. They're getting a little bit more scarce to find.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys will build their own with 2 mobile radios and a controller.
Yep.
And the thing that gives you is they give you some flexibility.
Yep.
But you got to know what you're doing, and then also what you're not using the PA. You're not using the PA on the transmit radio to power it. You have to probably run a separate PA, right? Because so in theory, if you have a decent site, you have a significant amount of feed loss between your duplexer, any other sort of filtering, because you're going to have filtering, and then you'll run up the tower. Even if you're running hardline, you have losses.
Yep.
So generally speaking, you tune your radio down to about as low as it will transmit with a stable frequency, because you can tune them down to like a half watt, but they're not stable. And then you got to run that through a attenuator pad to get it down to the level that you need to run into a PA, like maybe 250 milliwatts, 400 milliwatts, whatever. And from there, then you have 100 watts or maybe even a little more, depending on your PA. And then your losses start. So you can get better power output by building your own, and you have a little more control.
Yeah.
Versus buying, just a Motorola or a Kenwood or a Tate or something like that. If you're going to go with a particular flavor of digital, then you're kind of shoehorned in. If you're going to buy a System Fusion, well, you're buying a Yaesu repeater. That's all you're going to do. If you're running DMR, you can run some. You probably get a couple of decent Motorola or Kenwood DMR radios.
Yep.
And run
High Terra or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And then you got to get the controller.
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays you can just get one of the little Raspberry Pis with the hat, and you can run that too. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a repeater guru by any means. I'm learning a little bit here and there as we go along. But if you go to repeaterbuilder.com, that'll give you all the information you ever want to know about building a repeater.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of clubs are going the inexpensive route, because they may not have, somebody that's got the technical wherewithal to mash together 2 Motorola's and the whole 9 yards. And you go with the Yaesu, like the DR2 or something like that, because you don't, even if it's going to be on a remote site, you don't, that doesn't have an internet connection, you don't have to run it digital or System Fusion if you don't want to. They'll run analog only. So a lot of people have been running, that, and that gives you 50 watts out, 40 up, 45, 50 watts out on transmit, or you can turn the power down and use an amplifier to take the stress off the repeater. But that's a package, repeater and controller all in one.
Right. So, yeah. So the other thing to consider, and I'm going to say this about Yaesu, is that the repeaters, the X1, X2, the first 2 generations of the System Fusion repeaters from Yaesu, those are just 2 mobile radios in a box.
Yeah.
So the transmitter is just a mobile radio. Caveat is mobile radio transmitters are not full duty cycle. They're not made for continuous duty. 24 hours, 7 days a week for 20 years, right? So what some of the guys have been finding out is that you're running full 50 watts on that output on that Yaesu, and it's heavy use, you're going to burn stuff up eventually. So most of them tune it down to 25 watts, but then with all your duplexer and everything else, you're really at the antenna, maybe you're getting 10 or 15 watts at that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. So
yeah, so yeah, lower the power and then use a dedicated amplifier to bring it back up again to combat your duplexer and feed line losses. So that's the repeater game. Low power out of your repeater into an amplifier to overcome the losses.
And then you spend a lot of money on feed lot, antenna, someone to climb. And then once you get it up, 5 years later, the tower owner decides, we don't want you there anymore. Then you got to take the whole damn thing down. It's a racket. If you really want to get into the repeater business, I'll give you 100 reasons why not to. I mean, if you want to put a little toy one on the back of your house, if you got a 30-foot tower in the back, go right ahead, have fun. But oh boy, the amount of headaches I have had with repeaters over the past 10 years for the club and everything, I don't wish it on anyone. I don't. It's enough to drive you crazy. It really is. It's enough it's enough to get you out of the hobby. It's like, well, what's the point of this? So
because it's so much politics than anything else.
I've moved the same repeater 3 times, and we put it on the air that no one wanted to use it.
Yeah.
Right. So it will drive you absolutely insane. And then don't even get me talking about frequency coordination. Okay, because frequency coordination up here does not happen. You can send it off to the frequency coordinator, and it's like you might as well just flush it down the toilet. You bet you get a response to it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
It's repeaters have gotten tough because tower space is just a limited commodity. And people are moving away from using repeaters. It used to be, when I first got my license, it was everybody got on 2 meters and there was tons of activity, and that's how you met people. Nowadays,
chat while you're driving and
but order a pizza on the auto patch and things like that.
Do a thing like that.
I don't know.
On 220 of all things.
On all things, of course. So, but now that everybody's got their wireless device, their cell phone, you don't have to call the spouse on the radio anymore or whatnot. So repeaters are a challenge. It's a technical challenge. It's a political challenge, and it's just getting people involved to use it. Challenge. So good. More. I'm glad. More power to you if you want to take that on. So
best of luck. If you can get a private site, and if you got a 50-foot tower on a big hill that's just yours, well, then put the money into it. But if you are going on someone else's tower, like a commercial tower, good luck. It's a nightmare.
So a repeater on a city water tower, then it had to come down so they could paint it. Exactly.
Yeah, Don, you've been in my shoes.
Things like that.
What it costs to get a tower climber. Find a tower climber.
Find one.
Like we looked at one to get some stuff down off a tower. We were getting quotes of $15,000 to $20,000, and we just said the equipment that's up there isn't worth it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
You just abandon it. Yeah. So, all right. So we are.
Wow. I wish we didn't bring everyone down there. God.
Yeah.
That poor guy's walking away with his tail between his legs, going to go home and cry.
Yeah.
Can we talk about something else that's happy and fun?
Let's talk about something fun. So this is something I've been kind of saving. I had somebody emailed me about a week ago, Scott, and he's a new ham, Central Illinois. He's running an Ultimax 66-foot end-fed antenna in the attic in a rising L west to east, and he's having noise that is preventing him from hearing close by and Wisconsin operators.
Okay.
Would chokes help with what I perceive as RF noise coming down my coaxial cable from the antenna? Or what other things can we do to get rid of some of that noise? So, and you know what?
Yeah.
There's really no one solution to reducing RF noise, because it is, as I kind of say, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. You know, you get
yeah. And if you think that's bad, try figuring out noise in a repeater site.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So if you find
the first thing I'm going to tell you, Scott, go through your house and unplug any sort of wall wart, any sort of USB charger, any sort of anything that goes from 120 volts to something else. Just unplug them all.
Yes.
Right. One at a time. Go through, especially those cheap little ones that you get from China or from anywhere else. They're terrible. They're noise pollution in the worst possible way. LED lights can do it. I had a high pressure sodium lights, street lights across the street that was going on and off, and I was getting a pulsing noise, so like a slow pulse, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And one day I walked outside at night and I saw that on, and I figured out what it was. A good radio helps. A good radio with a good receiver. And Scott, I don't know what you got. When I got my FTDX 3000, the roofing filters on there are phenomenal.
Yep.
The 3000 is by far one of the best triple het receivers in that last generation with DSP. They're really, really good. But I used to have before that a 750 ICOM 756, which was a very good radio with a very good receiver. And I had S8, S9, 10 plus over noise on the lower bands at night, especially in the summer. I don't have that as much now with the 3000, and I'm using basically the same radio. But I've also found I got the big 20-inch monitor down here a couple months ago, and I was getting noise, and I come to find out I had to buy a power supply for it. You know, little 12-volt power supply, and I couldn't find the original one for this one, so I got one off Amazon, and that was causing noise.
Jeez.
So it is definitely, as Michael puts it, a game of whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole.
The ARRL, and I think this even used to be in one of the exam tests. Go ahead and run your radio off of a battery and start turning breakers off one at a time in your house.
Yep. Kill the power.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you live in an apartment complex, sorry. But if you live in your own house, turn it off one at a time and take note what happens. Then follow that circuit, if it's in the kitchen, living room, bedroom, whatever, and find out what's in there.
Find those noisemakers
noise in your house. That helps a lot. You ain't going to be able to do much about your neighbors. You ain't going to be able to do enough about their solar arrays, their car chargers, their plasma television. But if you can take care of what's in your house, you stand a better chance of getting the majority of it done.
The majority, get rid of the majority of the noise. Yeah. So first is to find those noisemakers, kill the power if you can, and then breakers one at a time, so you can listen and see. Yeah, because if you kill the main power and the noise is still there, then it's outside, and that's a different. Then you got to take a different approach. You know, if you kill the power and the noise disappears.
With the exception, laptops, tablets, anything that has an internal battery.
Yeah.
But it's not the power supply in those cases. It's like a processor or something.
Yeah. So
I guess the other thing is, like, if you have like whole house fans, a pump or something that may run, those can always be noisy. Russell there, will a UPS create noise? Oh God, yes. It's two A UPS takes AC, charges batteries, so you got a charger, and then it's got an inverter in it. So yeah, they'll create a lot of noise.
Yeah, and they can.
You're better off just running your radio off the batteries and not having a UPS.
Yeah, LED shop lights, cheap shop lights.
Yeah.
Ferrites on every single wall wart. So once you find, noisy control board on a dishwasher, that's going to be a tough one.
That was a fox hunt, I bet.
Yeah. But once you, so
don't put a choke on the dishwasher. You might end up in jail.
Oh. So the place you want to go is Palomar Engineers, and they've got everything that you're going to need in order to get rid of noise. RFI, EMI solutions. So you can get common mode chokes, ferrite kits, RFI solutions for your that go on the transceiver end. One thing you can do, and we didn't talk about this, because we were alluding to common mode chokes. This is the thing I've got on my transceiver, the common mode noise filter, and what it does. Come on, man! They just kind of drill us down. So this is a common mode choke. Commonly we put these common mode chokes on the near the feed point of the antenna in order to keep that common mode from coming back down the outside braid. But your outside braid of your feed line can also be considered an antenna and receive common mode noise from other sources. So like Joe, when we were at Winter Field Day and everybody was transmitting and we could hear everybody else's transmitters in our, because our receiver was being overloaded by those close signals.
Right.
If we add a second common mode choke at the transceiver end, and that's what this is, then that's going to give you that extra level of filtering. So if there's common mode noise coming in on your feed lines, you can greatly reduce that. So
right. Yeah, it's it could be anything, and that common mode noise, it really has to be like a strong signal from close by, right?
Yeah.
Another thing you can do, I've done this before, get the cheapest handheld AM radio you can find. Like $5 at the Goodwill, and walk around your house with that. And when you start hearing noise on that, you can almost point right to it, right? Yep. Because the little AM radios with the little bar magnet inside are very directional. And if something's making a noise, especially on the lower bands, you can find it with that.
Yep, absolutely. Or if you wanted to spend a little more money, Tiny SA spectrum analyzers, then you can watch it on a screen. Don's reminds us noisy power lines, bad hardware on power poles. Usually it's a fuse that's going bad, that's arcing. Sometimes it can be a transformer. If you can locate the noise to a specific power pole, you can contact your contact your utility, and they will fix it.
But you got to prove that. You got to prove it to them.
Yeah, they'll have an engineer come out. Sometimes you got to convince them that you need an engineer to look at this, but they're willing. If they can get an engineer out there to verify it, they will fix it because that's costing them money. So.
MFJ, God bless their souls. They used to make a portable dish antenna that you could actually walk around. It was made for two things: for finding noisy power lines and finding bats.
Yep.
Right. And
it's ultrasonic. Yeah.
And that's what it was for. But if you can find one used on eBay, I would try that too.
Yeah, Jason said, would a high band filter work like a high pass or a low pass filter? Not necessarily, because a lot of RFI is an electromagnetic noise is so broad banded that those you need the common mode choke type filters to help
and the old
eliminate
TVI
that.
filters don't work anymore either.
Yep.
There's not really television interference like there used to be.
No. When we talk about noise from chargers, run it from a big battery, flip on the charger when you go to bed. I used to do that. I had this humongous marine battery that I ran my station on, and then it would charge at night. And
you can do that, but that's still not gonna. It's still not gonna isolate you from all the other noise.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, realistically, you could run an isolation transformer too at that rate, right? But that's still not gonna. You still have isolation if you have a one of the big old power supplies, not a switch mode power supply, but a what's the other type of power supply with the big transformer in them. I can't even think of it right now. But technically there's isolation in that as well.
Linear supplies.
Linear supply, thank you.
Yeah.
There's isolation between the primary and secondary of that. So, but even still, like I run a big 70 amp Astron power supply, but that ain't isolating all the noise for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mark is asking, I have 32 can fixtures with LED bulbs in my finished basement. What brands of bulbs would you consider?
You're screwed. Right. So you have the can fixtures. Were they the can fixtures with the Edison base, or were they can fixtures that used to have the weird CFL base? Yeah. So I mean, you can.
Well, if they're Edison based, then you can use standard bulbs.
Right. I mean, you could go get 32 incandescent bulbs if you can find them, because those will not cause RFI. But if you have, you're going to find the answer to that, Mark, is really expensive. Nowadays, the new wafer lights that they're putting in, there's not even a bulb; it's just a driver and a little wafer that they stick up into the soffit.
It's permanently installed, yeah.
Right. But for what Mark has, stick with the major brands, like GE, Panasonic, those major brands of light makers.
I've been purchasing Sylvania bulbs. They're Sylvania LEDs, and they've been good for me. I don't know. I'm trying to think what's the top line that Home Depot sells?
Not Commercial Electric. Ugh.
No, not those. Oh shoot, I can't remember now. But yeah, I get the Sylvanias, and they've not the cheap 4 for 99-cent bulbs that they have on the end cap,
not at all. There's just so much stuff. Because everything now is a transistor. Yeah. Right. Everything now is a transistor. So it operates at a frequency that only dogs and mice can hear, and bats.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yep. So, I mean, I would definitely go with a good one. Don't get the ones that you can change the the color and the strength. Don't get the adjustable. Yeah. Don't get the adjustable ones, because I think that puts more problems into the play.
I don't know.
So that's my feeling on that. I install a lot of those. I installed a bunch of them today, but man, yeah, the LEDs are they're great because you never have to change them. They put out so much more light, and they are so efficient, but the noise is just unbelievable from an RF standpoint.
From the cheaps, the ones that are the cheap ones are made so cheaply that they die prematurely because they overheat, but they're just they have no filtering whatsoever. It's just a little transistor and a diode in order to bring the power level down to something that the LEDs will work with. So but hopefully we've got some,
wow, that was a rant. Ooh.
That was a long one. I didn't think we would go that deep, but hopefully we got some answers there. So, but you know what? It is almost time for.
I think we passed that.
Oh, I know.
I don't know. My little blue pill already wore off.
Oh, I know that I'm kind of,
Well, wait, let's get this done and over.
For Hamsexy.
You know it. Here's that time.
And we got something that is definitely
from the farthest recesses of the internet. Oh, God,
okay. This is definitely from we're going to be going down a hole here tonight.
It ain't a rabbit hole, my friend. It's not a rabbit hole.
You remember the website Internet K-hole? I don't even know if it's available anymore.
Yeah, can you say that on the show? K-hole?
Oh, we're past the family hour now.
Okay, yeah, we're in safe harbor.
Safe harbor. Hambooru, and I guess Hambooru is Japanese for like mood board or something like that.
But it's got to be Hamsexy.
This is Hamsexy if there ever was.
This is awful.
And it's awful something. I'll throw the link here if anybody wants to. If I get I'm working on two screens here, and if anybody wants to kind of play along at home and check it out, but
you don't want to check it out, guys.
So I saw this. Somebody shared the link on some ham radio Facebook group the other day, and I said, "Wow, that is crazy." So it's a group of friends who post images about ham radio and the ham radio scene, and hang out. If you want to hang out,
sure. Okay.
Okay, well, let's go hang out.
Let's hang out, Hambooru. Yeah.
So
one of those up. Let's see what you got.
Paging through it, it's we got some beautiful ham radio anime characters.
Ham radio anime.
I would definitely kind of expect.
Looks like we got a Baofu, yeah.
Yeah. And,
I mean, how many Baofangs can you put in your jacket right there, huh?
You can put all of them on there, evidently.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and the headset, too.
Of course.
That's how you know you're really, really into Hamsexy. What's that? Oh, hey. So first of all, she's climbing a tower without a harness.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of silly.
We got a safety issue here. So
yeah. We're sure when you need them. Second of all, I would use both hands, honey. Not just one. And third of all, if you're climbing a tower with a Baofeng, you deserve to fall.
You deserve to fall.
What's that big one there? Go back up just a smidge.
Which one?
Right there.
This one?
Yeah. What?
It looks like like it's half radio, half carry-on luggage.
It looks like they made a Baofeng that's tube state. Is that a 6146 in there?
Oh, it's something. It's got the sweet glow of electric sex, as Gene Shepherd would say.
My head is looking at it like I want to sit on it right now.
No, it's dehumidifier radio.
Oh yeah, it'll keep you warm. Looks like a fridge.
Yeah, and then it kind of gets worse from here. We got all of our,
here.
Yeah, the beautiful New Balance sneakers. We'll be seeing a lot of these at Hamvention in a couple weeks.
I'm not even mad. I kind of wondered where they got the Velcro ones there.
The Baofeng Samsonite.
Should be yours too for $29.95.
$29.95. More beautiful handhelds. We got Baofengs in colors. We got it with chrome trim. You
can get a Baofeng with anything for the right amount of money.
You can. This one's even water resistant.
Or is that water or is that the moon? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of Baofeng going on here. Oh, we got more.
Yeah.
Oh, we got memes. Some CB
we got some memes. Don't make me come down to that truck.
Uncle Jesse, the language. Watch the QRM there.
Oh, Uncle Jesse.
Oh no,
we did social media in the 70s.
God, how many times I've heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, skip off their front bumper. More like a reflector than anything else. Oh, chrome. Oh, look at some of this here. Ooh.
Beautiful.
Good Lord.
Oh.
And look at the bikes. Like, man, that guy is not married.
No.
Yeah, well, jeez. Museum of Radio and Technology. Yeah.
Okay, and I think we got one last page. One last page. We got the mobiles.
Oh, look at these.
I know you said.
Oh, that's a banger right there. That was 8 miles per hour.
I think I've seen that one at Hamvention too.
I think they had to take the door off that one. What's the point of the pool noodles up there? I want to know. Yeah.
Oh, it's
hope
good.
That person's tall so they can see over the crap on the dash.
Yeah. I hope they don't have passenger airbags, because otherwise you're gonna get a full frontal of a Radio Shack scanner.
Oh my God! So that reminds me. So I'm going to tell a story here. Back in the day, I had a friend that used to do the DB drags for car audio, and they would just gut a car. And all it needed to do was run and have a stereo in it. And this kind of reminds me of that. They would take the whole back seat, everything out of the back, other than like the driver's seat, and they would just have subwoofers. And it was stupid. And then they say, "Well, why'd you go sit in it?" And people wonder why I can't hear stuff anymore. Yeah, this is what it reminds me of. Like, they just has a motor in there, and that just runs the alternator. It doesn't actually
runs the alternator. Of course.
No, they parked this up on a mountain someplace, and it's a repeater site. This isn't even like this. At what point on this do any of those antennas actually work?
Do anything?
Escort. Never mind.
It's an escort.
The engine ain't gonna run, so we're fine. The bumper's falling off on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here we got one more. Look at that beautiful. Oh, look at that strobe.
Oh,
they got a code 5 on the top too. You know.
Wow.
Right out of RoboCop.
Right. I mean, take a look at that. That's a whacker right there.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh my God.
Beautiful. All the beautiful women next to their radios. You know they've never seen a radio in their life.
Yep. So, yeah, check it out. Hambooru.
Oh my Lord.
US.
A million monkeys with a million typewriters still have not reproduced the words of Shakespeare.
Isn't that crazy?
Baofangs in space.
Space.
All I can think of right now is History of the World Part 2. Jews in space.
Oh my Lord. And with that, I think we've reached the bottom of that hole.
We've reached the bottom of a lot of things tonight.
Oh. See, Jason, this is what happens when you stick around to the end.
Yep. There was certainly a lot of crap there. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that.
Well, I think we're getting towards I think I got just about, I was going to grab one here. Chris, Radio and Life. I'm going camping at Long Lake Rec Area, weekend of June 6th through the 8th. I will be, Long Lake is in the Kettle Moraine.
Okay.
And I will be camping that weekend, but I won't be in Long Lake. I will be up at Point Beach State Forest north of Manitowoc.
Is that by the
weekend.
new plants?
The nuke plant is I think it's closer to Kiwani.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Good luck finding some RFI there.
I think it's offline. I don't think that one's running anymore.
Yeah, that was the last one. I think it's shut down now. So
yeah. But I'll be at Point Beach State Forest near Manitowoc. But that weekend is Museum Ships Weekend, and I'm gonna if it all works out, if I can get a slot, I'm gonna be operating from Nicobia on Saturday. So
yeah, I think this weekend or next weekend the military crossband weekend.
It's probably next week. I don't think it's this weekend.
Okay.
It must be next weekend. It's in crossband weekend's in May, but I'm not sure when in May it is.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. Remember how to work your radio and split, but
yeah, because they work on
a military station, POTA.
Yeah. There's some parks that are on military bases.
Well,
you need. There's a couple of them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's getting a little deep. I can see the military police showing up on that one.
Yeah.
No, sir, you're right.
Yeah. Bill's asking, when you give a signal report during POTA activations, do you stick to a default signal report for everyone? I try to give a legitimate signal report. Most of the time, people are. I hear a lot. Usually I usually hear people loud enough that they're either 5, 7, or 9. It's unless they're not wiggling my meter, and then they might be like a 3, 3, 4, 4. But if I'm running an antenna like that POTA Performer or something, that's picking. I can usually pick people out really, really well, and I legitimately try to give an accurate signal report. I'm not always looking at my meter, but once you do it a few thousand times, you can kind of hear by ear, how loud they are. So,
yeah, no. So when I do voice activations, I try to do my best to give a good signal report.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at doing it in CW yet. So either you're 5'9" and you're loud and proud, or you're having a problem that say you're 5'5".
Typically on CW,
or 5'9" now.
Typically on CW, everybody's 599, 5NN.
Right. Yeah. Especially with the contacts, you're 5NN.
You're 5NN, 599. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say for anything else, CW guys are trying to give you a better number than that. But.
Yep. Exactly. So, all right. Oh, Eric says that. Yeah, I've had the base police ask him what he was doing a few times.
All right, have fun.
That's fun. Ham radio. Usually you don't. I don't. When somebody asks me, I don't get into a long dissertation, but yeah. And that's usually enough to satisfy their curiosity.
Right. Yeah. People make brochures and have signs and stuff, and we're not like that.
No. I try to keep a relatively low profile.
Yeah. That's why I like going to like the wildlife areas and stuff, because there's no one ever there.
Yep. Or barely anybody there.
Mm.
So, all right. Well, although I was at a couple wildlife areas, and I think I might have prevented some nefarious activity because they've made a slow. I was there operating. They made a slow roll around the parking lot and then scooted out quick.
Oh, yeah. So we did the Wisconsin parks on the air a while. Oh, I guess probably 6-7 years ago, and I was up north and I was activating. Well, I was going to an activation. I pulled in and I saw a couple guys. They had some stuff on the tailgate. I won't say what it was exactly, and I just turned around and I left at a very high rate of speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found some meth heads.
Yeah, if there's something here,
I'm gonna get out of here. No, thank you. I'm leaving.
If the parking area is hinky to begin with, yeah, I'm gonna pass it up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've seen that. So all right. With that, I think we'll just kind of close things up. Coming up, of course, May I'll be at Hamvention. I got a big pile of stuff that I've been working through to review. So I've got a couple of review videos coming out, a couple, 3, 4 of them over the next few weeks, along with some. There'll be Hamvention stuff the end of May. I'm going to be talking with Greg, the POTA performer guy. We're going to do an interview that's coming up. That'll be coming up really soon. So stay tuned for that. And so it's and then camping season starts in June, and we're going to have a full boat of POTA activations and things.
I mean, we're really only 7-8 weeks out from field day right now.
Yeah.
We're about 2 months out from field day.
So think about field day for next month. We'll be talking about field day next month for sure. And we were going to talk about the POTA camp out quick coming in October. There's still a couple sites left if you're interested in the Wisconsin Ham Radio camp out. Drop me a line and I'll share the details with you. But other than that, next live stream Thursday, June 5th. And I'll tell you about the Cobia then. So that'll be right before Museum Ships weekend. But with that, I think this is about time to kind of button things up because I'm getting a little hoarse. And
my cat is telling me it's time to go.
Yeah, cat's telling you it's time to go too.
It says it's time to go.
Yep.
Katie says time for bed.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. It's been it's always a pleasure, and it makes the live stream go faster when we actually have people listening to us. So, but Michael, KB9 VBR.
I'm Joe, KD9 CJX 73.
Yeah, 73. Have a great weekend.